Here we are, friends. I've been hiding under my desk for about 2 hours, trying to avoid this moment of recording and sharing something with the Kahila, my precious friends, my companions in this journey of the high holidays. I've been avoiding it like really like crazy because right now I'm sitting in my office staring at myself because I'm recording this via Zoom, and I can't even tell you how awkward that is. It's the absolute worst. Um, this has been a challenging couple months, I think, for everybody. For me, it's like an interesting trade-off. It's this time of year, probably this week tonight, we would be packing, getting all of our stuff ready. Tova, my wife, would be getting all of the bags ready for all the kids because Lord knows that I would forget everything. I remember the first time that I came with children. Uh, I was shocked that we had to pack a car seat, which you actually have to do. I was like, really? Like, there's no one who could buy in the airport or something, like next to the pretzels? Like, she packed everything. She made it happen. And to me, to do this, without you, without KST, without the chevra is really, really hard. I mean, as I've opened up every year in that beloved tent, in our beloved tent, I grew up in KST. I feel that way. I came as a single, somewhat, almost broken Jew by myself, and you opened up your hearts to me. And 2 years later, I was engaged. The next year, I was married. Year after that, Tova was expecting. A year after that, we had little baby Zevi. And this year, I was excited to bring the whole family, Zevi and Kira. I think Kira came last year too. But here we are. We're separate. We're all the borders are closed. The boundaries have been closed off, and I'm stuck here in Teaneck, New Jersey. I have never davened here. I've lived here for 6 years. I have never davened here. Since I've been married, I've been going to Canada every single year. So you'll excuse me if I am befuddled, if I'm pushing this off. Speaking via Zoom, I know I'm recording this, it's not live, staring at myself and not being in that both boiling hot and frigidly cold tent that we are cordoned into every year is really hard for me. And I miss you. I miss everybody, and I want you to know that in a very real way from the bottom of my heart. I'm thinking of you, and I hope that you could reach out. I'm trying to connect to as many people as possible. A few people have already reached out. And if you don't have it, you could connect to me on the email, dbashevkin@gmail.com. The rabbi could put it there. Of course, Twitter. We know about Twitter. I love Twitter, dbash ideas. But here we are. And I have this pathetic replacement. It's not pathetic. I love it, but this is what we're missing. This is what we're missing. I just have the picture. I just have the memories every year. The davening, Chaim's davening, L'rachem Amo Bayom Din, that God has mercy on his people on the day of judgment. His singing, his tunes. Pesach, who I never get to hear because I'm in the tent, but he brings great wine. Oof, does Pesach bring great wine? Ooh, killer wine. I had to go out tonight, buy my own wine for the first time. And you have such a special rabbi, Rabbi Kanofsky. What a real Jew. What a real deep, like that. I like jeans. Am I allowed to say that? I like jeans, and like sometimes there's like good worn-in jeans. They've lived a little. It's not something you bought off the shelves. And that good worn-in denim, that's the Kanofsky family. Like their appreciation of Yiddishkeit, of Jewish identity, of commitment, of Amcha Yisrael, of the Jewish people, is really unparalleled. The only thing that rivals it is the Rebbetzin Sharona's Kreplach, which I'm not going to have this year either. That's hard to even think about. I check the mailbox every day, hoping she sends some vacuum packs. I don't know that they're gonna come. If you're listening, I'm ready. I will eat them. I need a minimum of 9. That's my serving size. There's no serving portions on it, but I think you're supposed to eat 9 of those delicious dough wrap with meat inside. Very, very tasty. I'm missing it, but I don't want to name drop. But you know where I sit in the peanut gallery, all the way in the back, and at all the crew there. I just miss everybody, and it's hard. And I want to just connect in a small way, in a super duper small way. I can't stare at myself for an hour and a half. On Rosh Hashanah, on both days, on Yom Kippur, we speak an hour and 15, hour and a half, and then on Yom Kippur, we usually get a double dose. So we're not going to do that this year. We don't have the ability, and the temperature. I think what allows me to go on for so long is those really crazy temperature when it gets really, really hot, and then we open up the tent a little bit, then it gets freezing cold, and then we close it, and it's boiling hot. Hard to fall asleep like that. It really keeps you on your toes, and the temperature is pretty normal in here. And I don't think I could go as long as I once did. But I want to share with you a really short pre-Rosh Hashanah message. I'll try to send something again Yom Kippur also, because I really, really want to connect. I really feel like I'm not at home right now, even though I'm in my home, I'm in my office. But this isn't how I'm supposed to enter the high holidays. And when you enter into Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, there's a communal component, there's a familial component. And to do this without my Rosh Hashanah family is uncharted waters. And I hope that your prayers, your thoughts, your love connect in some way. I really, really mean that. I want to share with you. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to get a little fancy. I'm a Zoom person. I want to share with you one thing. It probably circulated. Rabbi Kanofsky probably already did this. He loves signs. He's so good with those outside of KST. He's got those killer signs. Always a good, clever pun or whatever it is. But I saw a sign that really caught my eye. And before I tell you the sign, I want to kind of throw out a question that's always bothered me, which is on Rosh Hashanah, we have this really strange custom to eat like these fruit, like we eat like pomegranates or carrots, and we dip the apple in the honey. We do all of this stuff, and they're called simanim, which means signs, a simon, like a symbol in a way. And we make these special blessings. Let's say we eat beets. So there's a blessing. Yihiratzon milfanecha, Hashem Elokeinu v'Elokeinu, may it be your will, God and the God of my fathers, sheyistalku oivenu, that we should remove all of our adversaries, all the things in this world that try to stop us from becoming who we are. And the reason why we do this is yistalku, which means to remove, has the same kind of sound as the word silka, which is the Hebrew word for beets. So okay, like you eat a beet, you can eat a beet a lot of ways. I guess it's cute that they share the same name. Why is this like the seminal custom that we start off the year? It's a fairly simple question. It's a fairly basic question. That's the same thing, dip the apple in the honey. Like, have a sweet new year, eat honey. Like, what we're conjuring is like Hogwarts, where, if you eat something sweet, the rest of your year is going to be sweet. Like, come on, like, I've had a lot of sweet things. I don't know that it stopped anything. It's not a potion. So what exactly are the simanim about? And I saw this sign circulating online that really made me think about what maybe the simanim are about. Maybe. And I want to share it with you. I'm going to share my screen for like 1 second so you could take a peek at it. Here's this sweet, sweet sign. And I shared it on Twitter. If you read it from left to right, it says, "You don't matter, give up. You don't matter, give up." Not so encouraging. And I think a lot of people are feeling that right now. You don't matter. Go back, quarantine. Nobody's thinking about you. Nobody's caring about you. Give up. But if you read the sign up to down, it says, "You matter, don't give up." Left to right, it's negative, it's almost nihilistic. Nothing matters. You're not important. But if you read it as two columns, it's a totally different sign. It's you matter, don't give up. And I kind of love this because it made me think of the Simonim of Rosh Hashanah. You know, on Rosh Hashanah, we're all seeing the same signs. We're all looking at the same billboards. We're all looking at the same difficulties. Because everybody's got something going on in their life. Everybody. It's not just Corona. It's not just the pandemic. Everybody's got something going on behind closed doors. And everybody's got signs. And we're all looking at those signs. And some days it sounds like those signs say, you don't matter, give up. And what we need to do as we enter into Rosh Hashanah is we need to retrain ourselves how to read. Because we're all looking at the same signs. We're all looking at the same difficulties. Behind closed doors, I assure you, even the people who you think got everything figured out, they don't. They've got stuff going on, and they've got signs. And the question is, how do you read them? Do you read your signs from left to right? You don't matter, give up. Or do you read your signs up to down? You matter, don't give up. And I'm thinking about the past couple months. I'm thinking about the trajectory of my life. I'm thinking about a lot of things. And I think that there are always two ways to look at those moments in our lives. We can look at every single moment in our life as another reminder that the plan didn't go as you had hoped. The dream, the ambition didn't work out. But you could take those very moments and you could inject some sense of hopefulness, optimism, even in those very difficult moments. Even when it looks like the whole world is screaming at you that you don't matter, you can still look at that banality, that vacuum, that absence, and say, no, I'm not listening to that sign. I'm reading it a different way. I'm reading it backwards. I'm reading it upside down. I'm reading it up to down, right to left. Whatever works, but I'm reading it differently. I'm not reading it in the way that the cynicism and the negativity and all those things in my life and in our lives often want us to read them. And I think that's what the Simanim about. The Simanim is we take the most ridiculous, the most insignificant fruits, vegetables, beets, cabbage, dates, apples, things, pumpkin, things that aren't that important, things that we never think about twice. And we say, you know what? This doesn't mean much. This doesn't really matter. But tonight, I'm going to make it matter. Because I want to show the world that the way I'm starting this year is even the signs that don't have meaning, that don't have significance, that seem to be absence of any direction or guidance, I have the capacity and the power to inject significance and meaning into this very moment. I could pick up a beet. Who cares about beets other than Dwight Schrute from The Office? Beets, Battlestar Galactica. Love Dwight. Gotta love him. But who cares about these things? Beets, a gourd, a pomegranate, a carrot. The simanim are meaningless. They're vegetables. They're fruit. On Rosh Hashanah, we remind the world, we remind our families, we remind our communities, and we remind ourselves that you could pick up a beet or a carrot or something that doesn't have meaning, a sign that's not telling you anything, and you could inject meaning into that sign. You could inject hopefulness and optimism. And it trains us as we begin the year to learn how to read signs differently, to learn how to read all of those moments, those carrot and beet moments that we're going to have the rest of the year. Lord, what are you sending me? What's this beat? What's this beat of a month, this beat of a week, this beat of a day supposed to be teaching me? And on Rosh Hashanah night, we remind ourselves that you could pick up a beat. And we could say, Yehi ratzon milfanecha Hashem Elokeinu ve'Elokei Avosenu sheyistalku oivenu. I'm taking meaning, I'm injecting meaning into something that is not inherently meaningful. I'm taking a moment that seems to be creating absence or distance, and I'm creating connection. And that's the way that we start the year. There's a custom that you can come up with your own simanim. You can come up with your own signs. You could take something that's not inherently meaningful and you can inject your own significance into it, because that's the whole idea. It's not just the beets or the apple or the ones that you traditionally do. You come up with your own, because the whole exercise is learning how to inject and invest meaning in those moments in your life. There's that corny rabbi joke. I don't think it was originally corny. I think of the first person who said it, like the J.R. Tolkien novel. You ever read a J.R. Tolkien novel, like The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings? So he was the first author who calls them the Mountain of Doom. Somebody were to write a book and has them the Mountain of Doom, like a little cliche, but the first person who did it was actually clever. That was J.R. Tolkien. So there's a rabbi joke that's now cliche. I think the first person that did it was kind of clever. But he used to take a raisin and celery on Rosh Hashanah night, and he would say, "Yehi ratzon, God, may it be your will, that you get a raise in salary." Oh, but I'm sorry. I'm not going to be invited back. That's okay. That joke should revoke my right from ever coming back to KST, and I would not blame you. But I have a simon I do every year, and I want to share it with you now. And that is every year, Rosh Hashanah night. Open it up now. A fresh bottle. I have a bottle of Lagvulin. Lagvulin, which is that peaty, smoky scotch. That peaty, smoky scotch. It's a delicious scotch. And every Rosh Hashanah night, I bought bottle. Probably already has a few bottles that I've brought over the years. I bring one for Rabbi Kanofsky. But I want to have a l'chaim now with the whole shul. And the term Lagvulin, this is for those who watch Parks and Rec. This is Ron Swanson's favorite scotch, covered Ron. But I want to drink it now, covered in honor of everything that we're going through. Lagvulin is the name of the scotch, but it's also a Hebrew term. Gvul means a boundary, means a restriction. La, when you add on the suffix la, it means without. It negates it. Lagvulin means without boundaries, without borders. And in a year where it feels like we're confined, in a year that it feels like we're separated, in a year that it feels like we're isolated, I want to make a l'chaim that we're able to experience a life of meaning, infuse that meaning, Lagvulin without boundaries, that we can have love without boundaries, that we can have friendship and connection without boundaries, and that we can have a sweet new year of health and happiness, and a ksiva v'chasima tova to every single member and friend in the KST, the 10th Chevra, the Shul Chevra, the Chazonim, the Rabbi, everybody together, though we're not together. It's Lagvulin. It's without boundaries, without separation, without all of the walls that we build up for ourselves, between ourselves and others, between ourselves and God. Lagvulin, no more boundaries, to open up our hearts and really connect and empathize with what everybody's going through. I want to wish that l'chaim to the entire shul and say hopefully we'll have a year with love without boundaries, friendship without boundaries, spirituality and inspiration without boundaries, health and happiness for many, many years to come. L'chaim, l'chaim to my friends at KST. L'chaim, Lagvulin, to a life, to health, to love without boundaries. Miss you all, love you all.